How's everybody? Well, you know, this is March, and we're celebrating Women's History Month. Where's Dr. Joan M.E. Gaither? Come on up, Dr. Joan Gaither. I want you to know that Joan is our curator for our quilts, and we just want our exhibit. Thank you so much for all you've done. But while I'm here, let's give a big round of applause to our Dunbar Jazz Band. Aren't they awesome? Really, really awesome. And you know, it really is exciting to celebrate our month because we are such beautiful, beautiful specimens of this earth. And we do, look at Carolyn standing back there. Carolyn is the chief of staff for the president of the city council. And she really gets it done. She keeps it moving. Thank you, Carol. Thanks for all the work that you do. Let me just say, I always get excited when it's time to celebrate Women's History Month. And I tell folks, I had this wonderful, you'll appreciate this, Joan. I had this wonderful interview at Notre Dame, and it was for the women students. And one of the questions they asked me at the end was, what advice would you give women? Or what advice would you give us? And I said, choose us. Choose us. Because oftentimes we don't have faith in ourselves to choose us. And they were so stunned. I said, just think about it, you all. Think about it. Women are the majority of the population. And imagine what the White House would look like today if women would have just chose us. Now, some among us did, but many among us did not. And so I said to them that, you know, it is in this what they used to call a man's world, but now they understand that it is a man and women's world. It's our world. It's our world together. Yes. And it is what we do together with and for each other that will make the difference in our city, our state, our country. And oftentimes we see the greatness in ourselves, and sometimes we doubt our own greatness. And so what happens? That young girl that you come face to face with, if you don't show her the confidence that you have in yourself, how do you expect her to have confidence in her? And so while we celebrate Women's History Month, we are really celebrating women in our city, in our state, and in this country. And what we're saying to women is, believe in the strength of who you are. Show your character. Be the change that you want to see. Because we've always been that change. We lift others up, we push others forward, and we forget to lift up ourselves. And so I have this unique and wonderful position. And let me be real clear. We need men in the world. We need some good men in the world. And we want them to do right by women. Yes. Because we're going to do right by y'all. Yes. Because that's what we do. Yes. But, you know, there's so many things I could say about Dr. Gaither, and I just want to acknowledge that, and I hope you all really move throughout and see the quilts. I saw a beautiful quilt exhibit. I don't know if you all got a chance to see the one at the, at the Reginald Lou. It was just magnificent. Magnificent. And I want to take a moment too to applaud all of the women who are in leadership positions, and I want to name some of them here in City Hall. But just a little bit of history. Out of the 100, in 2018, there are 106 women who serve in the U.S. Congress, 22 women who serve in the Senate out of 100, 84 women in the House out of 435. As of January 2018, among the 100 largest cities in the United States, 22 have women mayors, including me. 7 are African American, 1 is Latina, 2 are Asian Pacific Islanders, and others. So the great thing about Baltimore is that we've been fortunate to have 3 women mayors. And so, you know, Baltimore's a pretty smart city. We don't have a problem choosing women. We dominate the state legislature in terms of women from our city. But we want folks to know that we believe in the power of women. And so I know they're not all here, but I want to just name a few of the women who work for the city. My chief of staff, who's still upstairs working, Kim. You all know Kim. Give her a round of applause. In the Department of Transportation, Michelle Prosciu. Housing Authority, Janet Abrams. Health Commissioner, Dr. Leanna Wynn. Chief of Government Relations, Karen Stokes. Her deputy is Poetry Deal. At the library, running our library system, Heidi Daniels. Director of the Office of Civil Rights and Wage Enforcement, Jill P. Carter. Baltimore City School CEO, Sonia Santelises. Executive Director of the Baltimore Convention Center, Peggy Diadakis. Executive Director of Live Baltimore, Annie Miller. Director of Main Streets, Verna Rodwell Jones, or Verna Jones Rodwell. Verna. Director of the Department of Human Resources and Chief of Human Capital Officer, Mary Talley. Executive Director of our Environmental Control Board, Rebecca Woods. Director of Logistics and Special Assistant to the Mayor, Jerry Bird. Director of External Affairs, Afra Vance White. Director of Public Affairs, Tonya Miller. Acting Director of the Baltimore City Department of Social Services, Robin Harvey. Director of the Mayor's Office of Sustainable Solutions, Kendra Parlock. Director of the Mayor's Office of Immigrant and Multicultural Affairs, Catalina Rodriguez Lima. Director of the Office of Constituent Services, Daphne Williams. Labor Commissioner, Deborah Moore Carter. And General Manager of Charm TV, Tanya Lee. Let's give all of our leaders in the city a big round of applause. And I'm gonna throw Carolyn in that mix too, because she's working hard, as well as our Vice President of City Council, Sharon Middleton. So I want to read this little proclamation. And of course, this is declaring Women's History Month in Baltimore, March 2018. But you all know, every month is Women's Month, because we working hard every day. So I'm not going to do all of these whereas, but I'll do a few. So I'll do like this, and y'all can say. Wait, let's do this again. 1, 2, 3. Women's History Month is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. We celebrate women with mindful, celebrating women's quilt, fiber, artistic, and American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless ways. And today, the citizens of Baltimore join with women across the world in acknowledging and celebrating their past and encouraging a future full of promise and equal opportunity. and therefore I, Catherine Pugh, the mayor of this city, do hereby proclaim March 2018 as Women's History Month in Baltimore, and I urge all of our citizens to do the same. And I'm going to present this to the great doctor. Let's give her a round of applause. So you all should know that we're bringing back one of those groups that sort of kind of died out, and it's our Women's Commission. And over 100 women have applied. And someone said to me, how do we choose? I said, we don't. There's so much work to be done. We need not choose. When people take the time to say, can I be a part of something, we'll open up our arms and say, come on, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get to work. Let's work together. And so for all of those who have applied, we look forward to your first meeting. And more importantly, we look forward to continuing to work on behalf of all of us. And so now I'm going to have Dr. Joan M.E. Gaither say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pugh. I just want to say thank you so much for coming out this evening. But you know, when I was asked to do this for Women's History Month, my first response was, I'm a woman, I'm not women. So I thought, what better way than to throw out the invitation to the many talented women that are throughout our city and surrounding. So I would like for all of the quilt artists that are here today, please stand up, because I want folks to know, stand up, come up this way, come over here, if you're on the side, come in. Yeah, come in, yes.
Come in closer, you all. Come on in.
Come in closer.
Come in.
Yeah, come in closer so they can get a picture.
That's all right. We want to make sure the camera's
right. I wanted to be sure that you were able to see the diversity of the voices and the stories and the different techniques and approaches. And all of these women, some of us are very young, some of us are, Leslie, what do I say? Mature, seasoned.
With such beauty. With such beauty.
But all of us are mindful in our own voices, our shared history, our shared world, and what's going on in it. And I welcome you to see all of these pieces, and hopefully the artists will be able to stand by their piece and talk to you about that. I want to say Cynthia York could not be with us. She's out of town, but I think everybody else now is here. Thank you so much, and I'm so excited about the show. And please go see the Reginald Lewis exhibit. It's been extended to the end of March. Great. So please get by. And here, you can come here during the week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, to see the exhibit here. So please come back and bring children, bring the seniors, and have an intergenerational conversation about what's going on in our world, particularly in our city. Thank you so much, and I just want to thank the artists.
So you know what, we should have each artist at least come up and give your names, and then what we want our artists to do is to go stand by your quilts, because as you all know, one of the great things about these quilts is that they tell stories, and we love the stories.
Yes.
So
Tell them, yes.
My name is Hannah Brancato, and I'm part of the Monument Quilt, which are the two red squares behind us. So this is a collective project celebrating stories of survival from rape and abuse. So I actually didn't make these squares, but I'm just part of the collective that runs the project. So
you have cards for
yes, I can give these to you. Thank you.
And get your crew with you.
okay. Come, crew.
And I saw Diane over there.
Diane, are you hiding over there? Okay.
Oh, yeah, come on.
You're no longer hiding.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Talk on to Hi, I'm Olivia Robinson, and
This is Diane Kuthi.
and
Maggie Harris.
and
Oh, sorry.
Olitha Devane.
Diane.
Joan Gaither. We're all a part of this big piece.
uh, it's a collaborative quilt over in the South Gallery, and it is looking at historically how the idea of whiteness has been developed. And we know that whiteness as an idea is something that was constructed, like all of race was, and the more that it is deconstructed, the easier we will have for undoing the harm that it can do. Or at least that's what we hope and what we're investigating for our quilt.
And it focuses on Baltimore and Maryland especially. Go ahead.
My name is Glenda Richardson, and I'm president of the African American Quilters of Baltimore. And thanks to them, I've been able to develop as a quilter. I have two quilts in the exhibit. One is a portrait of Mahalia Jackson, who was sort of the voice of the civil rights movement, and the other is called Black Lives Still Matter. And I'll be standing next to him.
Hello and thank you. My name is Paula Phillips. I'm one of the teaching faculty at MICA in the MFA in Community Arts Engagement and Activism program. And my quilt is about joy and who you give praise to every day. And it's in this room, and it's the one with 1,000 mirrors. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Smith, and the title of my quilt is African Queen Soul Sisters. And you'll see a lot of charms on there that signify and symbolize the different things that we should do as anybody. Relax, breathe, you know, be healthy, all those different things. So take a minute and read the charms, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, my name is S.B. Frazier. I'm an artist and I teach at Friends Middle School. I teach middle school students every day. I'm still standing. I have a crochet piece in the other room, and the piece is special to me because Joyce Scott taught me how to bead, and that piece is inspired by her.
My name is Ursula Popolo. I have a quilt in this room. It is my life story. It tells what I went through to get to this country, and now I'm here.
I am not a quilter. However, Joan called me and said, "You do fiber. You must have something in your studio that we can put in the show." My pieces are in this room over here. It's the piece that's called Restavik, which is about Haitian children. And then there's a print of Harriet Tubman. And I also have a portion of a piece in the other room. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Leslie King Hammond. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled to be in this show for two reasons. My quilt is a collaborative piece with the mother of Joyce Scott, Elizabeth Talford Scott. The piece is called Mother Monster, a testament to my arrogance. In the midst of a divorce, I had to buy new furniture, and I bought a sofa, and I took the scraps from the cushion, and I made a top quilt that I loved, and I put over the cushions until I could afford to have the sofa remade. And then I decided to take the top quilt and give it to Elizabeth Scott, who at that point in her career was doing a lot of embellishing and telling stories on the top of her quilt. And I said, Mother Scott, can you just put some stuff on top of this quilt? You know, and I said, oh, it'll be a collaborative piece. Anyway, when I got the quilt back, I opened it up and I screamed and closed it up and I said, oh my God, this is not my quilt, this is Elizabeth Scott. And I said, what did you do, Mom? And she said, this is you while you were protecting your child during the divorce. So when you look at the quilt, you will see actual crab claws that she put in there. And I went, oh my God, I was a shrew beast.
Good evening. My name is Lindra Pratt Marshall. I am the past chair of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture. I'm best known as a genealogist. I have 2 quilts in the room to my right on the back wall celebrating my grandmothers. And they were created on the year or in the year they would have reached 100 years old. So I hope you stop by.
I want to bring your attention to a very small piece framed. It's a quilt square, and I put it in the show in memory of Miss Betty Williams, who is a dedicated educator here in the city. She passed just recently at the age of 95. And when the G's Bend quilters were in town, Lucy Mingo became friendly with Betty as a part of her Pierians group from Morgan, and she gave Betty that quilt square along with another G's Bend quilt. Betty entrusted both of them to me, so I wanted to just be sure to bring your attention to that piece in appreciation of just a servant for the city and just for the world. And I have 2 pieces in the other room that honors Senator Verda Welcome, and the piece that is the icons of the Harlem Renaissance belong to an organization, NACAPS, and the writer is here in the audience with us today, Vivian Spencer. And I would it celebrates the cast members or the characters that were in the cast this year. So please enjoy the multiple voices. And I'm hoping that you will be inspired to go home and tell the story of someone in your family, maybe a senior. Leave a quilt maybe that tells your story for your grandchildren. But this is our time. I'm on a mission. And when you get to that other side of 50, 60, 70, you better do it now.
I see a few more strong women, our new IG, step forward so they can see you. Give a big round of applause. She's here in City Hall leading that effort. And then I saw Dana Moore. Where's our deputy city solicitor? There she is. Another one. And you know, you don't get to do this work by yourself. It's because you have a great team of folks working with you and for you all. And that is coordinating this particular activity is Tanya Miller. Tanya Miller is our Director of Public Affairs. She's back there doing public affairs. So, and to all of my staff and everyone who had anything to do with making today possible, more importantly, this whole exhibit possible. And let me just, for all of you ladies, thank you. Thank you. And I see Carmelita over there as well. Let me just say that what I leave you with is remember how important we are, not just to ourselves, but to each other. And that we must touch the little ones so that they understand the importance of respect and love. When we teach one another to love one another, we find the best in ourselves and not the worst. And when we find those who are struggling, what we try to do is lift them up. That should be all of our goals, to lift each other up and push each other forward. God bless. Let's go watch the exhibit.